You have to become fools. Now think about what it looks like to become a fool in the eyes of the world. That people around you at work or your neighbors or your family or your friends that might not know Jesus, who don't kind of submit themselves under the scriptures as the narrative that's gonna define things for them. They just kind of go about life. Think about the things that you might believe or the things that you might do where they would look at you and say, you're a fool. Because Paul says, look, I don't mind being a fool. That's kind of what I'm called to do right here. We're called to be fools. Let me ask you a question. Does anyone in your life think you're a fool? Does anyone look at your beliefs, look at your life, look at the way you live and think that's foolish, that's stupid, that's dumb? If they don't, you might not be living out Christianity in front of them. That's the reality. So think about the things, the way the world functions. Take an issue. Very hot topic this week, abortion, okay? Take the idea of abortion. Our culture has a particular view on abortion, the way it works, and how when life starts and so on and so forth. So much so that this week the New York legislature and the law courts passed a law where they could have really, really late-term abortions to the point where the Empire State Building, they lit up the spire in pink to celebrate this idea that you could abort a kid at like 8 months or whatever it is, crazy. And so obviously as a Christian, we believe God stitches together in the womb and that's God's creation and that this is murder, so on and so forth. So you have this view. Now, our Prime Minister Trudeau, and don't worry, this is not a political point, so calm down, but he said this. He said, quite frankly, as a society, the pro-life position, he said, is not in line with where we are as a government and quite frankly, where we are as a society. And so the people who believe that this shouldn't happen and this is a life in there, they aren't in line with the Canadian government and they're not in line with Canadian society at large. So now they're fools. And so what you gotta understand is in the scope of history, it's true that society might not align with all of your beliefs, but that's okay. Because listen, where society was at was vastly different than when the abolitionists came and tried to say slavery is wrong. Society was fine with slavery. When everybody wanted to push against civil rights, society and the government, they were fine with black people having different bathrooms and different schools and functioning different in buses. They were fine with it. Don't take your cues from the culture around you to understand what righteousness is. Righteousness might not be popular. That's not why it's right. Righteousness just needs to be right. It doesn't have to be popular. And you might be persecuted for the things that you believe. Are you willing or do you hide it? Well, I hide it. Why? Because I want them to know about Jesus. No, it's because you're a coward. That's why you're afraid to talk to people about your belief. And take a million different issues. The person and work of Jesus, the exclusivity of Christ, and the fact that the Bible's real and we're trying to follow it. Jesus really rose from the dead. Take your whatever issue. He says, you become fools.